I started reading at an incredibly early age, when it was time for college. Most of my classmates were older than me by at least a couple of years. The campus was a sprawling expanse of green lawns and majestic buildings. The library, with its towering shelves filled with countless volumes, was my favorite haunt. Regarding relationships between men and women, I was truly a late bloomer. Even in my junior year, I still had no experience in love. During my college years, I was a diligent student. I would spend countless hours in the library, poring over thick textbooks and academic papers. My study desk in the dormitory was always piled high with notes and reference materials. I'd often stay up late into the night, preparing for exams and working on complex projects. It wasn't until my senior year that I fell head over heels for a boy from the same class. It was a kind of late love that blossomed unexpectedly. Our campus was alive with the buzz of student activities. There were passionate debates in the lecture halls, energetic sports games on the fields, and lively music performances in the auditorium. We often strolled along the tree-lined pathways, sharing dreams and aspirations. We were in love for nearly a whole year. Later, he went to the United States after graduating with a bachelor's degree, and our relationship came to an abrupt end. During that year, we didn't have a formal sexual relationship because I wasn't ready to take that final step, but except for that, we explored and tried almost everything possible. There were tender caresses with hands and passionate moments with the mouth, in a variety of ways that left us both breathless and craving for more. So, I can say that although I'm a virgin, I have accumulated quite some sexual experience. I could easily please my boyfriend with my skilled hands and knowing mouth. Of course, this might also be due to his incredibly sensitive body that responded passionately to my every touch. We didn't separate because he went abroad. I even had a detailed plan to pursue a graduate degree for 3 years and apply to go abroad to reunite with him. Unfortunately, he broke up with me less than 2 months after arriving in the United States. At that time, I was shattered into a million pieces because I loved him with all my heart and felt that I could go to the ends of the earth for him. I simply couldn't come to terms with this cruel reality. So in the first year of graduate school, I still soldiered on and insisted on completing the GRE and TOEFL, hoping against hope to go to the United States to find him and salvage our relationship. I'd attend intense language classes, practice speaking and writing constantly. I'd fill notebooks with grammar rules and vocabulary words. Every spare moment was dedicated to my studies. Regrettably, soon I heard the heart-wrenching news that he had a new girlfriend. Since then, my mindset has undergone a seismic shift. I lost a significant part of my faith in love and became somewhat cynical. When I was in the middle of graduate school, I finally finished the GRE and was left feeling empty and adrift. So when I had spare time, I often found myself drawn to a well-known campus BBS. There was a rather sex section on that BBS, so I made a bold post and wrote about some intimate things related to me and my ex-boyfriend, mostly centered around our passionate sexual experiences. Soon after, I received a letter from a boy who expressed a burning desire to talk to me. I added him on QQ, This boy was the one I later had a complex entanglement with. His name was Feng, and he was a junior at a university in Shanghai. The campus during this time was a whirlwind of classes, research, projects, and social gatherings. I'd rush from one end of the campus to the other, juggling my academic responsibilities and the occasional stolen moments of relaxation with friends. Actually, I had never ventured into the territory of talking to strange boys about such intimate matters before. Feng, however, was incredibly proactive in this regard. Feng took the initiative to pepper me with questions about the sexual encounters with my ex-boyfriend on QQ, delving into minute details with an unwavering determination. He would also take the initiative to spill the beans about his own experiences with his ex-girlfriend. They broke up because of an irreconcilable personality clash, and he claimed to be still single and yearning for love. Soon, I experienced the electrifying thrill of chatting with him. It was a form of virtual cybersex that pushed the boundaries. We teased each other on QQ, sharing and exaggerating our previous sexual escapades, and letting our imaginations run wild. Gradually, this clandestine communication evolved to using mobile phone text messages. Because we both lived in crowded dormitories, using the phone was a luxury we rarely indulged in. I could sense that he had an insatiable libido because every time, without fail, he was the one to initiate the messaging. I never had to take the lead. In fact, it wasn't difficult to predict the trajectory of our relationship. It seemed destined to be nothing more than a fleeting one-night stand. Although we had been exchanging messages for a considerable length of time, neither of us had a clear picture of what the other looked like, nor had we ever met face to face. But we never broached the topic of meeting because it seemed that he was completely immersed in this virtual fantasy world, and I myself never seriously contemplated a one-night stand at that time. Then it was my sophomore year of graduate school, and he was also in his senior year. In truth, we didn't keep in touch as frequently as before during those days. The initial spark had dimmed, and neither of us harbored a deep and intense affection for the other, until one fateful day, when we were texting as usual, he boldly proposed to meet me in person. At first, I was hesitant and refused. After all, I felt that he was younger than me, and I was unsure if it was a wise move, but my curiosity got the better of me. Later, I asked him to send me his photos before making a final decision, so he promptly sent me the pictures. Looking at him, he appeared very handsome and radiated a sunny charm. I was more than satisfied with what I saw, so I gave him the green light to come over on the weekend. He, in turn, asked me to send him my photos as well. I didn't object and said with a hint of nonchalance that if he wanted to come and see me, he was welcome. If he didn't like what he saw, then it was no big deal. It's estimated that he was in a state of desperate longing at that time. I thought that even if I were less than perfect in his eyes, he would still take the chance and come to see me. So he agreed to make the journey to my school. Fortunately, my city was in close proximity to Shanghai. One Saturday, he embarked on his journey to my city. I instructed him to take a taxi to my school, and I nervously waited for him at the school gate. I stood there for what felt like an eternity. I saw a taxi pull up at the entrance of the school. The moment the passengers emerged from the vehicle, my eyes zeroed in on him. I didn't rush over immediately but waited for him to make the first move and call. I picked up his phone, and the anticipation hung thick in the air. He was probably quite smitten when he laid eyes on me because I'm still very beautiful, a quintessential campus beauty with an air of innocence that belied the boldness of our online exchanges. It was hard to reconcile the image of me sending provocative words on QQ and text messages with the demure presence I presented in person. We shared a lunch together, and I complimented him, saying, "You're even more handsome than in the photos." I could see the pride swelling within him as he basked in the compliment. It's estimated that handsome people often carry an innate confidence that shines through. Then he turned his gaze upon me, carefully scrutinizing every feature, and showered me with effusive praise. "You are not only beautiful but also possess an enchanting temperament that is truly captivating." I really didn't expect to have been engaged in such intense and intimate chats with such a girl for so long. Later, with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, we went to open a room and put into practice the fantasies we had shared during our countless online exchanges.